Good morning, everyone. My name is Ron Legler. I am the president of Florida Theatrical Association. We are the nonprofit presenters of Broadway throughout the state of Florida. We are really excited for you to be here today. This production of War Horse is one of the most special productions I've ever seen on stage. It won the Tony Award for Best Play in 2011. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. And I have to tell you, you go into the shows with expectations, and when it exceeds every expectation, you'll be so moved. And we're so proud of Florida's rich history with equestrian and all the things that go on. So we just want you to know that when you see the show, War Horse, I actually had to spend about an extra 15 minutes in my seat in New York because the impact is so great. It was a wonderful book read by millions of kids, school-age children. It turned into an amazing Broadway play and then a wonderful, fantastic movie. So it has a wonderful, rich history, and we're really looking forward to sharing it with our community in Orlando. I just wanted to say, too, is that Central Florida is a wonderful place for artists to grow. We have the University of Central Florida, which is one of the biggest performing arts schools in Florida itself. And out of that school comes such talented people. One of them today, we're lucky enough, that has a lead role in War Horse. And he's actually with us here today, and I'm going to turn it over to him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Wyatt Cox, and he plays the role of Albert.
As Ron mentioned, I'm a former UCF grad, and it's really special for me to be home, to be back in Central Florida. It's a bit surreal, actually, coming back here after so many years off of being at UCF. I mean, seeing the logo everywhere, and the Amway Center, and seeing old friends. It's really special to be home. I was actually raised in West Palm. I grew up on a farm around horses. My father was a veterinarian, recently retired, and I've always just been around the animals, and they're incredible. I mean, you know, people know dogs and cats so well, and horses are so similar in that they just have such a deep capacity for empathy and love, and they read our energy so well, just like dogs and cats do. And they have such deep, rich emotional lives, and it's so great to be performing a piece that kind of shows that journey with humans and horses and their connection. Because Florida does have such a rich equestrian history. I was a big part of that growing up, and it's really special to be a part of something like that. War Horse is really a simple story. It's about this farm boy, Albert, who I play, whose father drunkenly purchases a foal at an auction. He can't afford it, he buys it anyway to try to compete with his brother. And it's up to Albert, the 16-year-old boy, to raise the horse. I mean, he's alone on the farm, he's got to raise him. And he raises him up to this beautiful, full-sized hunter colt. And they become just the best of friends. Albert's a lonely kid, he's alone on the farm, and he and Joey just have this tight bond. So special, just like I did as a kid growing up on the farm as well. Joey and Albert, they ride, they have a blast together, they're just as close as you can be, and then Joey is sold off to fight in World War I. And much to Albert's devastation, he has no control over this. Joey's sent away, so Albert, as a 16-year-old, enlists in the war to try and find his friend and bring him home. And it's sort of this long journey of love and friendship and loyalty that's so rich in the piece. Ron mentioned it won the Tony for Best Play. It's really more than a play, it's a theatrical event. I mean, there's music, obviously puppetry, the music, there's live music and singing, as I said, the lights are beautiful, I mean, there's stage pictures, and it's a powerful piece. It's this epic journey of loyalty and friendship and love, and it's as Ron said, it's one of a kind. And we're really excited to have Joey here. The play is this big commercial success. I mean, there's a movie, there's Broadway, there's this tour, but really it started out very small. It started out in workshops, just in the UK, just a few guys in a room just working with puppetry and story and improvisation. And that's the beauty of the piece, is that it can start so small and grow into something like this, and to be here, to have me back here in my hometown, presenting it to you guys. So it's this long journey that War Horse has gone through, and we're really proud to have it here. So we're going to bring Joey out right now. The way to bring Joey out is pretty special. you got to do something called the owl call, so you put your hands together like this. Here's Joey. It's so interesting for us, you know, Joey's incredible. I mean, it's right in front of your face. You can see it on your own. And you know, we've been doing this show for so long. We have so much time around the puppets. And still, every time he comes out, every time he takes life, we're blown away by it. We really are. I mean, it's an incredible piece of artwork. And it's something, to get to act on stage with something like this is just one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Joey, want to eat? Good boy. So Joey's construction is simple, and I think that's what's kind of incredible about him. Is they use these really simple techniques to make something so lifelike and so amazing. So if we start back here in the hind, we have the lovely Aaron Haskell back here controlling the hind. He's got these two bicycle brakes right here, which he can control the tail movement. The tail is a huge emotional indicator for Joey. Joey, he has a few ways he can show emotion, and the tail is a major part of it. So sometimes if I'm training Joey, if I'm teaching him to plow, you know, and he gives me the tail flick, you know, maybe I'll know to give him some space or something like that. Maybe he's just whipping flies off of him, or maybe, you know, he's trying to give me a message. It's up to us to kind of read it and discover that on our own. So Aaron does the hind back here. Right here, what we call the heart position is Adam Cunningham, one of our Canadian residents. Adam's a great dude. He's great in the horse. The heart position is a special one because he has so much power over the breath of the horse. You see Joey right now breathing. He's always alive. You know, he's always breathing. And this breath box right here, which Adam uses, and he kind of does this pulsing squat like this. You can see him. And if you can do that for 3 hours, then you get to be a puppeteer and do that. You know, all the jobs of the puppeteers are incredibly strenuous, which is why they swap out every night, back to night. There'll be Joey one night and then there'll be Ensemble the next, because it is so taxing on their bodies. Here's James Duncan, another lovely Canadian in our cast. He does the head motion. Obviously the head is something we're all drawn to right away. There's a lot of depth in the eyes and stuff like that. James has these controls in the front where he can do ear movement like that. The ears are Joey's, you know, main emotional indicator for me. I pay a lot of attention to his head, and that's a strong way for me to tell how he's feeling. If he pins his ears back here, for example, I'll know he's frustrated. You see, I mentioned the depth of the eyes before. The power of the eyes in every puppet, and Joey in particular, is something that's key in our show. People often say that when they watch the show, they can see Joey blinking because the eyes are so deep. You know, obviously the eyes actually don't move at all. But they say for every 10 sets of eyes they make in the factory where the horses are made, they throw away 9 of them to make sure they have all that rich depth and all that life. I mentioned the construction before. You know, it is simple. It's this cane which they heat and they mold to make the skin, and then they put this mesh underneath it. The mesh is fascinating because, you know, they can use light in such a way to shoot light down on top of it, and it makes this hard shell for Joey. And then occasionally they'll shoot light from behind, and we can see the puppeteers inside. You know, we make no effort really to hide the puppeteers in the show. They'll just sort of disappear on our own as we watch, as we get engaged. Joey becomes a horse for us and for the audience as well. They started in these back rooms with these horses working on them. And there's this old story of the first Joey they made, and how they didn't have this head control here. And Joey would sort of just walk with his head down, and then the person inside would pull the head up. And someone in the rehearsal room just stuck a broom handle to the side of the head, and, you know, put some duct tape on that, and they said, yeah, I think this works. You know, it was this very improvised-based technique to create these horses. And it's grown into such a beautiful work of art that we can see before us. the sound of Joey, you hear them all making sounds, and they're you know, they're very stoic. You know, if you agitate Joey, obviously he's going to make a lot more sound. But the size of a horse's lung capacity is actually 3 times that of a human. So the 3 guys, or guys and girls, inside and out of the puppet, work together in unison to create the sound, to function the sound together. It's a really big, connective experience for the puppeteers. You know, the ensemble is key in our show. And these guys, you know, they're mic'd up the entire show. They can't communicate, they can't speak. It's all the way they breathe together, they lock into one another, and they find the sounds as one. I mean, it kind of blows me away working with these puppeteers. You know, I've always acted, and you know, I've done a lot of shows, but the puppeteers are special actors, dancers. Some of them are true, you know, puppeteers their whole lives. But watching them work, they're athletes as well as actors, these guys and girls, because they exercise, you know, they're powerful people, you know, they're great with the horse and outside the horse as well. They sort of do everything, and it's kind of awe-inspiring to watch them work together, because they work in these teams and they can switch in and out of these teams, but they work so well together, and it's a joy to watch them. So I think Joey's got to go back to the stable now. But before we do, we're going to do a little trick. I taught him this when he was a baby. It's called the way up. So you just go, Joey, way up.